So back here with Dave, our beekeeper, Vince, the mead maker, and this is number 3 of our installment. We're out here freezing our butts off a little bit. It's a little bit cold. It's like negative 13 in the bee yard. These are probably pretty toasty though.
Yeah, it'll be 33 degrees in all these boxes.
So there you go, 33 degrees in the boxes themselves, even though it's like negative 13, probably like negative 20 out here in the wind chill. Anyway, we're here with Dave. He's going to talk about what's inside a nuke box. So like I said, number 3 on our installment. So Dave, what is inside a nuke box?
Well, more what the actual box is. Yeah, all of it.
Okay,
Because we kind of went through the frames, so you are going to have frames and all the bees, and what actually comes as part of the nuke is in a different video, but there's kind of 2 main things that are kind of important for you to understand how they work and how they function and when to use some of these features on this box that really make it important. The big one first, being the entrance. So most nuke boxes will, to the eye just look like a box, but they should have an entrance. If you do end up with a wooden nuke box, most of them will just actually be cut in or, built into that box, and normally something has to get plugged into them. But the corrugated plastic as well as the wax dip boxes, a lot of times what you actually just see is a perforation. And all that really is just a template for you to score, or the beekeeper will score, and you can open up that entrance. So it's nice because you can open and close that entrance. Obviously you don't want to open in the vehicle, so when you do go to the beekeeper, they're going to have that closed on up. But if you do prefer one of the methods of bringing the nuke box home and then allowing them to use this box for a day or a couple of days, that sort of thing, it's important to let your bees out when they're there. So just you can kind of open and close that when you need to. The other big one, and so again, every nuke box is a little bit different, but on the style that we use here, there are ventilation holes with covers and flaps on both the front and the back of the box. So one, that kind of corresponds to where that entrance is, and one at the back of the box there. Super useful. So obviously when that entrance is closed and the bees are locked up in there, they do need to breathe, as well as typically this is happening kind of late summer, so it's, temperatures are creeping up and bees can overheat super quickly. So what you want to do is you want to actually have both entrances open when it comes to the airflow. You want them to be able to push air and circulate air through the hive. But once you have that entrance open and you're at home, what you're basically doing is you're just forcing almost too much ventilation through there, so you want to be able to close those up as well as they can. They're just extra entry ports for things like raccoons and other little pests. Every once in a while we do have a screen ripped out by a pest like that. So nicely with these flaps, you can just close those flaps up and close those ventilation holes once you actually have that entrance open. In the wax dipped ones, stereotypically, that ventilation is actually on the top of the lid there. So what most people do is when they get home, and they open up that entrance, they can literally just put a piece of plywood or something like that, tape that entrance up, just so that rain, weather, and pests don't get into that colony itself. So ventilation is super important. You want to have either the entrance or the ventilation holes open. But the nice thing is with this being a temporary box, if you do get into a little bit of bad weather, or we get it, life just gets crazy busy sometimes around nuke season. So if you don't have the ability to put that nuke into your full-size equipment in 1-2 days after purchasing that nuke, you can always use it as a temporary hive and let them come and go to the bathroom and forage and all that sort of good stuff in the box itself. So it's more than just a couple holes. You should know when to have them open, when to have them closed, that sort of thing. If not, ask your beekeeper or just watch this video again. But that's what's kind of built into the box that makes it so important.
Okay, cool. The two quick things, because when we had this before, you'd put the flap up, right? And then you put it underneath the lid.
Yeah, so in these boxes, you don't need to tape those ventilation covers up. You can just use that lid to seal that open, sort of thing. It does make a nice little handhold, but just make sure you're not poking your fingers right into that. It is just a little mesh screen, so you'll be able to poke your hands right through that and then be right in there with the bees and have the bees come out in the vehicle. So just be careful with that.
Cool. Okay, thanks, Dave. So we'll be following this up with another nuke video, I think, next week after.
On what to bring when you come to pick up your nuke.
What to bring. Okay, thanks very much.